My God. A 150 million crack said yes to Real Madrid. And while everyone is looking at that, a young idol is saying goodbye to the club with a surprising decision.
But wait, that's not all.
While we keep an eye on these bombshells, two important names from the current squad had their destinies confirmed. And you need to know who will stay and who might still leave. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and activate the bell, because here it's hot news every day about the biggest club in the world, our Real Madrid. Let's start with the first bombshell. Listen, merengue fan. Remember that English club full of money that keeps signing every gem in world football? Well, it seems that now it's their turn to lose one of their biggest stars. And it's not just any star. It's a monster who cost a fortune after becoming world champion, who today carries one of Europe's most talked about midfields and who, despite still being young, already commands and dictates the Blues midfield. According to the Spanish newspaper Fichajes, we are talking about Enzo Fernandez. That's right. The Argentine who arrived at Chelsea in 2023 after becoming world champion with Argentina said yes to Real Madrid. And it's not just any yes. Real is already preparing an absurd offer of 150 million euros for him. Do you realize that? 150 million. It's galactic money, for someone who arrives to be an absolute starter in Xabi Alonso's team. And look, if this negotiation goes through, you can write it down. Enzo will go down in history as another one who left Chelsea to shine in white, as Courtois, Hazard and Rudiger already did. The guy is young, has grit, technique, and game vision. Last season he scored 9 goals and 17 assists. All as a midfielder. And more, he was a key player in more than 50 games. Chelsea coach Enzo Maresca counts on Fernandez as one of the pillars of the club's project. In other words, he is central to the team. But even so, Real is willing to pay the release clause and convince the Argentine to wear the white mantle. And just think about our midfield with Enzo joining Bellingham, Valverde, Camavinga, Tchouaméni. It would be one of the best in history. But now I want to know from you, fan. Comment below. Do you think this 150 million investment is worth it? Or should Real bet on another position? Leave your opinion, because here you are also part of the analysis. Now let's go to a farewell no one expected. Remember that young Uruguayan forward who appeared in the main team with Ancelotti? Who scored a goal in the derby against Atletico de Madrid and made the fans delirious with his effort? Well, his time at our club has come to an end. We are talking about Alvaro Rodriguez. The 21-year-old forward, who had his moments of prominence in 2022-23 and was on loan at Getafe last season, has just been officially announced as a new Elche player. Elche confirmed, Alvaro Rodriguez is their new reinforcement, with a 4-year contract. But how did Real release him for free?
Calm down.
Even without a fixed value in the negotiation, Real Madrid was smart. They kept 50% of the player's economic rights. In other words, if he explodes at Elche and is sold in the future, Real still profits. Master strategy. Especially since Elche is back in La Liga now, and the forward will have minutes to show everything he knows. Rodriguez had a promising start, but unfortunately, he couldn't establish himself regularly. Still, he is another one of those talents from La Fabrica who might surprise in the future.
So, what do you think?
Did Real do the right thing by selling now, or should they have given him more chances in the main team?
Comment below. And it doesn't end here, fan.
More news is coming. And this one is the kind that brings relief to the merengue heart. In recent days, rumors began to surface that two very important players might be leaving. One of them is a fan favorite, known for his grit, physical strength and versatility in midfield, Eduardo Camavinga.
The other?
A technical midfielder, who has had his ups and downs but always delivers when he comes in, Dani Ceballos. But now comes the good news. According to Cadena SER Radio, Real Madrid does not intend to sell either of them this summer.
That's right, fan.
Both Camavinga and Ceballos remain in Xabi Alonso's plans. And look, this is extremely important, especially with the market being as crazy as it is. In fact, Betis president Ángel Haro spoke about the interest in Ceballos and made it clear, only on their terms, because they won't pay a fortune. Betis doesn't close doors to anyone, especially those who have played here. But today there are 3 parties involved, and that complicates things, he said. In other words, it's very unlikely that any departure will happen at this moment.
And there's more.
Aurelian Tchoumeni and Federico Valverde are also considered non-negotiable. With this, Real Madrid closes the cycle with an absurdly strong midfield: Bellingham, Enzo if he arrives, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde and Ceballos. A squad capable of dominating Europe for years. Now tell me, which one is your favorite?
Leave it in the comments.
And before we finish, I'm going to ask you again, Subscribe to the channel, because the season promises. With a big signing approaching, academy gems leaving, and the squad being adjusted, Real Madrid will come with everything to fight for everything. And here you'll stay on top of every detail, without fail. Share with your Madridista friends, send it to the group, spread this passion for the most successful club in history. Until the next video, Madridista. Hala Madrid.